Welcome back to another edition of the Interlake Sports Now. I'm Josh Dugan, and we have a lot to dive into today with prep basketball, postseason really heating up. Kicking off in Northwest Montana, had some Class B action and Class A. Double A still wrapping up, but we're getting there. Glacier and Flathead met up for a Crosstown doubleheader this past week, the basketball world, and then the Griz and Bobcats met for a little Brawl the Wild doubleheader in Bozeman. So lots of hoops to talk about today. Plus, we had some major changes to the Grizzlies coaching staff on both sides of the ball, so we'll definitely be diving into those changes, shaking things up a little bit, new offensive coordinator, new defensive coordinator, and other moves surrounding that. So it's going to be a fun show, lots to get to, always a fun time in the sports world in Northwest Montana and the state in general. Before we get to all that fun stuff, a quick reminder, today's episode is brought to you by Nomad. Voted the Flathead's best manufacturer, Nomad is a longtime supporter of the local community and sports scene, celebrating 20 years of building great careers and mission-focused custom vehicles. Nomad, a Montana-based company making a global impact. Shout out to Nomad. Visit nomadgcs.com for more info. That's nomadgcs.com for more information. Reminder, you can subscribe to the Daily Interlake e-edition to get all your local news right at your fingertips. All right, let's dive into all the fun. Going to get to a couple of headlines, and we'll move into that prep action. So much going on, and we'll wrap that up with the Griz football talk. So, some local coaching news, if you want to call it that. Flathead's wrestling coach, Jeff Thompson, was named to the school's Legends Wall of Fame during halftime of last Thursday's Crosstown basketball game in the Braves gym. Thompson was a three-time state champion for Great Falls during his prep days, and he wrestled for the Minnesota Golden Gophers during college. He started as the Brave Brawlers coach back in 2000 and has guided the program to 9 state championships. He also helped launch the Flathead girls wrestling program that won back-to-back state championships before finishing third at state this season. So major kudos to Coach Jeff Thompson, a well-deserved honor for all he does for the local community and the local sports scene. That's what it's all about. Nothing but respect, giving back to these kids, building a program, because wrestling, there's a lot of kids involved. You're really having an impact on a lot of people's lives. So nothing but credit to him, and shout out Flathead for giving them the well-deserved honor. So we had the final Brawl the Wild basketball action for the season, unless the two teams do meet up in the Big Sky Conference tourney. Never know. So we'll start with the Lady Griz and the Lady Bobcats, and then we'll move into the men. Quick recap from via Montana State Communications. Appreciate them. This one was from Bozeman. The Bobcats held off the Griz 75-73. Post players Cole Badbear and Lexi Deeden combined for 40 points Saturday, and their presence helped Montana State hold off the Montana Lady Griz Saturday 75-73. Badbear finished with 23, and Deeden, the two combined to shoot 65% from the field. They were the big driving force in that win. It was their 9th straight win over the rival at Worthington Arena and 14th in the last 17 games of the series, so the Lady Bobcats have been rolling in the series, no doubt. Darian White added 19 points and 8 rebounds and 6 assists for the Bobcats. Here's a quote from Bobcats head coach Trisha Binford. "We felt pretty good, but teams like Montana never backed down. They knocked down shots, but we were able to weather the storm. We did just enough to close out the game. Bad Bear matched a career high in points on the night, and then Libby Stunt paced Montana with 20 points, 9 in the fourth quarter. She hit 2 3-pointers, and UM hit 11 overall. The Lady Bobcats play at Sacramento State Thursday, and Montana heads to Portland State Thursday, and then to Stack State Saturday, and then Idaho will be coming to town Monday for the Lady Griz. So they got an action-packed couple of days there. On to the men's side. It was a sweep for the Bobcats. Let's not beat around the bush. The Bobcats, the men, took home the victory as well. This one was in Bozeman as well, the doubleheader. Raquan Battle finished with 19 points, and Montana State made a 15-point second-half lead hold up for a 72-68 Big Sky men's basketball win over Montana Saturday. I was watching this one on ESPN+, one of those games you're watching, the Bobcats are rolling, you kind of glance away for about 10 minutes, and all of a sudden it's a close ball game late, couldn't look away. So ended up being a really good game. The Griz fought back, didn't get the win, but ultimately that's what you want your team to fight, keep competing. As for some of the key players, Great Osborne and Darius Brown II scored 14 each for the Bobcats, and it was Brown's three-pointer that put MSU up 56-41 with 10:18 left in the game for that 15-point lead. The Grizzlies did rally, like I mentioned. Josh Vasquez hit a three at the 5:59 mark to cut MSU's lead to 59-52, and Josh Bannon scored 25 points on the day. He had 2 big free throws with 1:29 left to draw UM to 67-63. Aiden Moody came out with the 3 at 42 seconds left to cut the gap to 68-66. But Robert Ford of the Bobcats hit 2 free throws late. MSU had gotten an offensive rebound. Jabril Bello came up big, the former Big Sky Player of the Year. The free throws are good. Next thing you know, it's 70-66 with 11 seconds left. Game over. Bobcats win. Moody on the day had 21 for the Griz. Vasquez had 13, and then Bannon finished with those 25 points and 8 rebounds. So overall, tough, hard-fought game on both sides of the ball. Griz lose that one. Bobcats pull off the sweep. Definitely got a little basketball bragging rights right now in Bozeman. I'm sure they're happy about that. We'll see how the Big Sky Conference tournament goes on both sides for the men and the women. I'm very excited for that. As far as the men's, I will say Bobcats head coach Danny Sprinkle really has this program prepared to be a power in the Big Sky. But worth mentioning, Eastern Washington is absolutely rolling right now. They're the team to beat in next month's conference tournament. The Eagles are 15-0 in conference play, and they've already locked down a piece of the Big Sky Conference title with 3 games left to play. So it's going to be a tough road for the Bobcats to get past them. But they are gelling at the right time. And as for the Griz, they were coming off a 5-game winning streak. They had a late rally. They didn't win that game, but it seems like every time you look, they're fighting. Bannon's a heck of a player. Moody's a heck of a player. They got a few other guys who consistently step up. So they have a squad. They can, definitely pull off an upset or two in that Big Sky Conference tournament and all of a sudden shake things up. So that could be fun to watch. I'm really excited for that. But right now, Eastern Washington is the team to beat. So let's move from the college basketball world to our prep basketball games of the week. Starting out, the Stillwater girls to lock down the MCAA state title crown. Congratulations to them. This was in Great Falls. They won. Belle Schwartz hit 3 3-pointers and scored a game-high 15 points. And Stillwater Christian beat Great Falls Homeschool 49-37 for the MCAA Girls Basketball Championship Saturday. State champs. Catherine Paolini added 12 points for the Cougars, 8 coming in their dominant first half. And Schwartz finished with 10. And Stillwater, in that first half, Stillwater built a 33-16 lead at intermission, and they ran away with it. Stillwater Christian went 3-0 on the weekend, including a tight 46-42 semifinal win over Helena Christian Friday. Paolini had 10 points and 9 rebounds in that one. Bailey Pruitt scored 9 points, and Jolisa Pond had 6 of her 8 points in the fourth quarter to go with 7 boards. Overall, the Cougars opened up the tournament with a 65-35 win. They went 3-0 on the weekend, and that 65-35 win to open up the tournament was over Yellowstone Homeschool. Congratulations to Stillwater Christian girls basketball team on their state title. That's what you play for. That's what it's all about. Major kudos to them on the accomplishment. Never forget moments like that. Moving on to our next game of the week. The Whitefish boys earned a spot in the Western A Divisional Tournament. This one was in Whitefish. And Whitefish senior Jack Sears scored 18 points, and the Bulldogs pulled away from the second quarter to beat Libby 67-34 Saturday and earn that spot in the Western A Divisional. Sears had 4 points in the second quarter and added 8 more in the third, by which time the Bulldogs led 46-12. Mason Couch scored 12 points over the middle 2 quarters and added 14 in total for Whitefish. The Bulldogs' next game is Thursday in Ronan against defending State A champion Butte Central. So that'll be a tough play. If I'm correct, I believe they have a really good squad. So it's defending state champs. I believe they have Dougie Peoples is his name. Guy's an absolute walking bucket. So it's going to be a tough one for Whitefish. But, hey, you made it to the postseason. You picked up a win. That's what it's all about. So they kept their season alive. That's got to feel good. All right, let's move on to the Crosstown basketball action. The Daily Interlake's Fritz Neighbor was out there in attendance. I was there too, trying to grab some video. We'll definitely be throwing some of that in here. Saw some great highlights on the girls and the boys side. Everybody was balling out. So let's get to Fritz Neighbor's recap from the Interlake last week, and we'll keep it rolling from there. So rough and tumble, Glacier boys and Flathead girls earned tough wins. Rough and tumble split, So they split the games. Glacier boys took home the win. Flathead girls took home the win. Let's roll into this. This is from our very own Fritz Neighbor of the Daily Interlake. Crosstown 2 played to a packed Flathead High School gym Thursday night, and given the physical play on display, it's fitting that each game was decided by a touchdown. Had a football kind of energy out there. A lot of people diving for loose balls, hitting the deck. Definitely a straight-up battle on the court. You love to see it. The Flathead Braves had another tough battle with the Glacier girls using a 10-0 spurt, bridging the third and fourth quarters to subdue the pack 41-34 in the opener. In the nightcap, Glacier's boys won 42-35, a marked difference from the first battle, which the pack won by 37 points in the home gym, the Wolf Den, on January 20th. So, big improvement for the Braves, despite not taking home the win. Definitely fought hard in that one. Let's get into the recap from the boys, and then we'll get into the girls. here we go. The final in that one was 42-35 in the Wolfpack's favor, but this is from Fritz Neighbor. Fun game, definitely. This one looked like it might get away early again when Noah Dowler highlighted a 13-2 Wolfpack surge with a pair of dunks. The latter put Glacier up 19-7 at 5:09 of the second quarter. The visitors didn't score the rest of the half. Here's a quote from Glacier coach Mark Harkins. "I told the guys I thought we had a great chance to blow that open after those dunks." Harkins said after his team improved to 10-6, 7-5 over in conference play in the Western AA. But again, I give Flathead a lot of credit. They didn't let us do it. They kept their composure, didn't get down, and made it a heck of a basketball game. Trailing 19-12 at half, the Braves, who are 1-15 and 1-11 in conference play, saw Glacier's Adam Newkinen open the third quarter with a three. From there, they battled, getting pressure on the Pack's outside snipers. By the way, Tyler McDonald, one of Glacier's key players, missed the game with a sore knee. But Flathead did a good job of keeping bodies on Dowler and Castellas the best they could early. Here's a quote from Flathead's Noah Cummings, who had a game-high 16 points. "It was a home game, so that helps, and I think we played a lot better team basketball. We weren't deer in the headlights, you could say. That combined with just being more physical and attacking the rim instead of settling for shots made it a lot closer." Cummings' 2 free throws at 2:50 of the third quarter cut Glacier's lead to 23-19. Then a 7-point spurt by sophomore reserve Corbin Eden hit a three. He hit a three, converted a 3-point play, and turned a steal into a free throw. Quite the spurt. Paired the gap to a 29-26 early lead in the fourth quarter for the Wolfpack. From there, it was Castellas who finished with 12 points and 14 rebounds to answer for Glacier. Cummings hit 2 free throws to draw Flat to 38-35 with 40 seconds left. Kadron Bulls and Newkinen calmly nailed 2 of their own to put the game away. Bulls had 11. So overall, just a battle in this one. We'll get to a couple more quotes. I was at that one. Major, and I believe it might be Nakunin. Sorry if I botched the name there. I might be saying it wrong. But point being, Glacier absolutely battled. Flathead kept fighting in this one. It was one of those games where they really never were out of it. And I'd like to quote from Flathead's Noah Cummings there about attacking the rim. It did feel like they were just right off the bat. They're like, we're going to go out, we're going to be aggressive, we're going to attack, and we're going to keep ourselves in this ball game. So kudos to the Braves on the effort on the night despite not picking up the win, and kudos to Glacier for the victory. So one last quote here is from Noah Dowler, the Glacier big man. "We let them kind of keep up with us and get momentum. Dowler had 10 rebounds, 6 points, and a pair of blocks. If we had kept our cool after that first little bet, kept playing, we probably could have kept that going. They got physical, we didn't respond to that, but we kept it going just enough. Rebounding did help Glacier on the glass 21-11 after halftime. Castellas seemed to have most of them. He just hunts rebounds pretty much," Dowler said. "If he sees the ball, he's going straight for it." All right, on to the girls' game. A lot of fun in that gym on the basketball court that night. Well, absolutely just a great night of hoops in Kalispell. Shout out to the Glacier boys and the Flathead boys, leaving it all on the court. And I've mentioned before the Crosstown rivalry, physical play, a lot of bodies get knocked down. People really leaving it on the court, though, in the sense there is a lot of mutual respect. After the game, you could see the mutual respect from both teams, people helping each other when they fall, that kind of stuff. It goes a long way, and you love to see it. So as for the Bravettes, they picked up the 41-34 win over the Wolfpack. Glacier girls, this is another one from Fritz Neighbor. Glacier's girls had another low-scoring half with 13 points by intermission. The good news for them this time, they had a 3-point lead. When the Pack's Kendi Moore hit a 3-pointer with 30 seconds left in the third quarter, the visitors led 21-20. Single free throws from Flathead's Kendi Moore and Akila Kubi put the Bravettes back in front before the period ended. That also started a run of 10 straight points, capped by Avery Schoenhardt's 3-pointer that made it 30-21. 5:20 left in the game. Glacier kept the pressure, getting a 3-point play from Sarah Downs here and a 3-pointer from Kazi Bronkowski there. Keeping the pack at bay was Maddie Moy, who shook off a slow start by hitting her last 3 3-point attempts, 2 in the fourth quarter. The first put Flathead ahead, more good, 15-13. The last made it 33-24 midway through the fourth quarter. Shooters got to shoot. Shooters got to shoot. That's one of my favorite quotes, and I botched it. I think I was too excited. But shooters got to shoot, said the senior who had a game-high 14 points. That's what my team tells me and my coaches. One of my favorite basketball quotes right there. They say, hey, real shooters say every next shot's going in. You got to believe it. And, hey, I got to like the mentality. You just got to keep shooting. Moy mentioned that the Glacier's game plan was to not let us score. In the first half, they held us to 10 points. Obviously, the shots weren't falling in the first half, but then we started going in the second half and just kind of went off from there. Kendi Moore added 13 points and 5 rebounds For Flathead, Downs led Glacier with 10 before fouling out. All right, overall, that was an absolutely great game. A lot of fun. Shout out to both schools, all the athletes involved for their performances. And, you know, both schools on just an overall great night of basketball. The gym was packed. They raffled off a car. They honored Flathead's Jeff Thompson at halftime. There was just a lot of fun. It was a great night for the community, and you got to love that. So, all right. Before we move along to the rest of our prep games, our prep players of the week, and some Griz football talk, here's a word from our friends at Nomad. At Nomad, the key to our success has always been the amazing talent and experience of our team. Based in one of the most beautiful places on earth, our Kalispell, Montana headquarters is home to some of the most skilled engineers, integrators, software developers, welders, electricians, carpenters, mechanics, and professional staff in the market. Our team is dedicated to working collaboratively with our valued clients to ensure success in every mission. Join our team. Check out our careers page at nomadgcs.com to view current job openings and submit an application. All right, go check that out, nomadgcs.com/careers. And reminder, you can check out all these prep recaps in the Daily Interlake, probably the Sunday editions to go to, or go on the dailyinterlake.com. So let's get to the rest of our local prep basketball action. With, you know, it's postseason really getting going right now. Fun stuff. All right, let's get to the rest of our prep basketball. Thursday, we had one game on the girls' side with Whitefish beating Libby 39-30. That game kept their season alive, gave them a chance to move into the Northwest A divisional, but it did not go their way Saturday. That was the game they really needed to win versus Ronan, and they took home a 47-38 loss. Ronan, with that one, did advance to the divisional tournament with the win, so congrats to Ronan. Whitefish, great effort, but their season does come to an end. Let's get to some results from the Class B basketball tournaments up in Eureka. We'll start with the girls' side. Big Fork beat Eureka 68-8 on Friday behind 15 first-half points from Braden Gunlock. Gunlock finished with 19 points for the Vals, who are 19-0. The win put the Vals in the District 7B title game Saturday, which they went on to win 51-12 over Thompson Falls. Braden Gunlock was at it again with 13 points in that one to lead a balanced Vals attack and seal that District 7B title. They will advance to the Western B Divisional next week in Anaconda. As for the boys on the Big Fork team, they beat, we're starting with Eureka, actually. On Friday, host Eureka and Big Fork advanced to the District 7B Boys Final. Eureka picked up a 58-56 win over Mission to get there. They were led by Tristan Butts, who scored 18 second-half points, finished with 20 total. Big Fork on that Friday won 48-33. Isaac Epperly had 15 points for the Vikings in the win, so that set them up to face off in the District 7B Boys title game. And on Saturday, the Vikings did complete the Big Fork sweep, with Isaac Epperly scoring a game-high 20 points and the Vikings pulling away in the third quarter to beat Eureka 61-35 for that District 7B boys basketball title. So congratulations to Big Fork on both of their conference titles there. Sure, you got to love that. Awesome stuff. They've both been having a great season, so it seemed like it was a matter of time, but now moving into the postseason, state tournament, divisionals, this is when it really ramps up, so it should be fun to watch. All right, let's dive into our Prep Players of the Week, brought to you by Hagadone Media Group Montana. The team in Montana is here to help you grow. Our skilled team will assess your marketing goals and craft ROI-focused campaigns on to meet your business needs. Our integrated marketing solutions will help your people find you wherever they are looking, whether it's Google, YouTube, apps, or your local newspaper. Contact Anton at 406-758-4410 for more information. That's 406-758-4410 for more information. Let's dive into those prep players of the week. We're going to start out with some stars of our prep crosstown action the other night with Kalispell, Glacier, Kalispell, Flathead. Our Kalispell school's going at it. Just felt like saying Kalispell 3 times there. All right, let's start it out. First off, we have Glacier big man Noah Daller, who helped the Wolfpack boys take home a 42-35 win. Daller finished with 6 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 blocks, and he had 2 monster slam dunks on the night that sent the Pack Gym into a roar. Awesome stuff from Daller. Next up, another member of Glacier's front court, we have Cohen Costellitz, who had a double-double during the Crosstown win. Costellitz finished with 12 points and 14 rebounds to help seal the deal and lead the Wolfpack to victory. Now, onto the girls' side during the Crosstown action. Flathead Braves senior Maddie Moy picks up this week's Prep Player of the Week nod for her sharp shooting on Thursday night. Moy led the Bravettes with 14 points and hit her final 3 3-point attempts down the stretch to help propel the Bravettes to that 41-34 victory. Just felt like every time they needed a big play, a big moment, the seniors stepped up, came up clutch. That's what it's all about, especially in a rivalry win. Last up, we'll honor a pair of Big Four Hoopers. We just mentioned them both, starting with the girls' side. Brayden Gunlock takes home the Prep Player of the Week honor for the Vows. Gunlock finished with 19 points and 13 points as the Vows coasted to the District 7B title. Next up, Big Fork's Isaac Epperly, who helped lead the Vikings to the District 7B title on the boys' side. Epperly had 15 points in Friday's win and a game-high 20 points in the title to take home that District 7B crown. So awesome stuff. Congrats to Big Fork again. Those were your Prep Players of the Week presented by Hagedorn Media Group Montana. The team of Montana is here to help you grow. Our skilled team will assess your marketing goals and craft ROI-focused campaigns honed to meet your business needs. Our integrated marketing solutions will help your people find you wherever they are looking, whether it's Google, YouTube, apps, or your local newspaper. Contact Anton at 406-758-4410 for more information. All right, let's wrap this bad boy up with a little bit of Griz football talk. The University of Montana reported some big changes to the coaching staff on both sides of the ball. We'll start out with the offensive side. First, the Griz shook things up. Last year's offensive coordinator, Tim Rosenback, he's going to be moving into a senior analyst role and assist in prep recruiting. So with Rosenback out at offensive coordinator, the Griz have promoted Brent Pease, who was on the offensive staff last year. He'll be filling that role. Pease has 27 years of coaching experience, and this is his second time in the position with the Grizzlies. He helped lead the Griz to the 1996 FCS title game and 2 Big Sky titles from 1996 to 1998 when serving in the same role. Since his first stint with the Griz as an offensive coordinator, Pease has served as an OC for some of the nation's most high-profile programs, including stints at Kentucky, Baylor, Boise State, and Florida, with stops in Northern Arizona, Washington, and UTEP along the way. So quite the resume. During his time at Boise State, Pease coached Heisman Trophy finalist Kellen Moore, who became the first quarterback in FBS history to win 50 games in his career. In his 6 seasons in Boise, he also helped lead the Broncos to 6 straight bowl games and a number 4 national ranking. So I'm very optimistic on this hire myself. Sounds like Pease has quite the heck of a resume. Those Boise State offenses back in the day immediately really sparked some memories. I was definitely a fan of those teams, and Kellen Moore was a star back in the day for that team. So excited to see what Coach Pease brings to the table as an offensive mind. Here's what Coach Houck has to say on the change. We are shuffling some positions on our offensive staff and changing our approach to it. Coach Pease will call it on Saturdays, and there will be some wholesale changes to how we're doing things. I think it's good to freshen up our approach and go in a little different direction. Coach Pease will do a great job with that. He's got great experience. He's done this a lot of different times in a lot of different places. I think it will be productive to have him in that role. The other noteworthy changes to the Griz offensive coaching staff, Bryce Erickson, the UM tight ends coach since 2019, will move over to wide receivers, which was Pease' position group since returning to Montana. Rob Finikel, the Grizzlies offensive analyst in 2022 and a longtime offensive coordinator from 2003 to 2009, returns to the staff. He's going to be working with tight ends and tackles and serving as Coach Houck's assistant head coach. Also, former Grizzly All-American center Chad Germer will now concentrate on coaching the interior offensive line, working on centers and guards. So a lot of changes, but it sounds like Coach Houck's very optimistic about that. It seemed like Grizzly Nation was kind of ready for a little bit of a shakeup in the offensive regime, offensive philosophy. So we'll see if Coach Pease can bring that. He's had some major success in the Big Sky in the past, and with the Griz winning on the big stages. So he's going to bring that experience. Excited to see where that offense goes. As for the defensive side of the ball, the Grizzlies promoted Ronnie Bradford from cornerbacks coach to the man wearing the headset on defense, calling the shots. Bradford will also be coaching safeties. The Grizzlies ranked first in interceptions for all of the national college football, all NCAA during 2021 under Bradford's lead in the secondary. So definitely has a good resume. Before his time with the Griz, he was a secondary coach for the USC Trojans from 2016 to 2018. He also served as a special teams coordinator and defensive backs coach at Louisiana Tech from 2013 to 2015. Prior to that, he was a defensive assistant and a few stops and coached 7 seasons in the NFL with the Broncos and the Chiefs. So Definitely a lot of coaching experience there. As far as his playing days, Bradford played his college days for the University of Colorado and helped the Buffaloes win a share of the 1990 National Championship by blocking the extra point in the Buffs' 10-9 Orange Bowl win over Notre Dame. So he's done it on the big stage as a player. He's done it as a coach. Here's what Coach Houck has to say on Bradford's new role. Coach Bradford will be our defensive coordinator, and he'll call it on Saturdays. He's coached a lot of football, has great experience, and really understands the game. I'm excited for him to bring the things he's done in the past and put a new look to our defense and how we're calling it on that side of the ball. So, like I said, sounds like they're bringing in somebody with a lot of experience, has experience as a player as well. You know, can have that aspect when connecting to recruits and your defense. You know, you've been there, you've done that, so that can help too. But I like that he has experience as a coordinator. He's run a unit. He's been that guy before. Now he's getting his chance to coach the defense, which I'm sure he's always been working up for. So I'm excited to see what Coach Bradford can do. I'm excited to see this new look Griz defense because they've been a force. They've had a lot of success. But in the modern era of football, I think it's a good thing to put a defensive back-minded coach in the defensive coordinator position because ultimately, if you can't stop the pass in today's college football atmosphere, you can't win. So it all starts with really disrupting the quarterback, keeping their timing off, those kind of things. I like the move. Other changes to the defensive staff, former All-American linebacker Roger Cooper will now lead Montana's corps of linebackers, and defensive analyst Kim McLeod will now coach the Grizzly cornerbacks. Cooper was a standout linebacker who earned first-team All-Big Sky honors in 3 straight seasons at Montana State. He was also named the Big Sky MVP in 2004. So he had a lot of success with the Bobcats. He spent 3 seasons in the NFL. He played in NFL Europe as well. So a lot of success for Cooper. Seems like they're bringing a guy in promoting a guy who can really bring some experience to the position. So Roger, this is from Coach Houck, Roger will move from the safeties to the linebackers. It's a position he's completely comfortable with and that he's coached a lot. He has a great understanding of linebacker play, and I think he feels like he's getting back home to his natural position, said Coach Houck. So like the move there, linebacker the Grizzlies have had a lot of success at linebacker, so excited to see that one. McLeod, on the other hand, served as a defensive analyst for the Griz, like I said, and that was after joining the program from Hawaii. So he takes now a role as the cornerbacks coach, which is what he held with the Rainbow Warriors of Hawaii in 2021. His resume lists 3 decades of coaching experience with 10 different programs. He was an assistant head coach at Syracuse, and he also worked at Idaho, Nevada, and Baylor. So a lot of experience brought to the table on both sides of the Grizzlies coaching staff right now. It felt like the Griz last year, they had a lot of moving parts. It felt like in the Griz community, you know, maybe I'm looking on Twitter too much, reading the comments, but there was a lot of people calling for changes, a new regime, a new look. I think that you have a lot of same faces in new places kind of a thing. Coaches who are very familiar with the program. They know this current group of recruits. They know the current roster. They have a good relationship with Coach Houck. So I like the familiarity with the program, working from within with guys who have had success in the role, like Coach Pease, or somebody who has been building up to this for a while, like Coach Bradford. So overall, exciting stuff for Griz Nation. I think it's going to be fun to see where it goes. Of course, if they come out and the offense doesn't look like people expect, they'll be complaining about that, or the defense doesn't look like they expect, people complain about. That's how it is. I know how it goes. I'm not trying to hate, but we got to stay positive, Griz Nation. We got to think the best, and it's got to take, new coaching staff. It might take a game or two to hit their stride, but let them get to midseason form. Obviously, you got to take care of business early, get those wins, but maybe they aren't the prettiest. Get the W's, go home with the win, move on to the next one, and keep growing as a collective coaching staff, because it's going to be, there's going to be bumps in the road, but anything is new, so it'll be interesting. So before we wrap this thing up, I do want to give a special thanks to Hagadone Media Group Montana for their support, and remind everyone listening that this episode was brought to you by Nomad. Go to the Flathead's best manufacturer. Nomad is a longtime supporter of the local community and sports scene, celebrating 20 years of building great careers in mission-focused custom vehicles. Nomad, Montana-based company making a global impact. Nomad has worked with NASA and various branches of the United States military, so Nomad is a name you can trust with your manufacturing needs. For more info, visit nomadgcs.com. I repeat, nomadgcs.com. Alrighty, y'all. That'll do it for this week's show. I'm Josh Dugan. Next week, we're going to talk more prep basketball postseason action. We're going to be dive into that Big Sky basketball postseason that's about to heat up, and maybe we'll be able to get Fritz Neighbor on here to help break down these changes to the Grizzlies coaching staff a little bit more, because definitely some big shakeups. Like I said, some familiar faces, new places, but still it's going to have a different look on both sides of the ball. Interested to see where that goes. So that'll do it for today's show. Thanks again to the Flathead's best manufacturer, Nomad, and thanks again to Hagedorn Media Group Montana. I'm Josh Dugan, and I'm out. Thanks again, y'all.